Hello again. Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. If you're new to the channel, you know what I'm going to say now. Subscribe. Please, pretty please with sugar on top. Share the video, like the video, dislike the video, I don't mind. But any support you can give us, it's always, always, always appreciated. Now, there's a little fight the weekend, which you may have heard of. Saul, Canelo Alvarez, shows a bit of promise, versus Caleb Plant, and it's the unification, the undisputed title actually, at super middleweight. Alvarez is the WBC, IBF and WBO champ. Was it? No, hang on a minute. Let me get this right. There are so many belts I forget. It's Alvarez is WBC, WBA and WBO, and Plant has the IBF title. That's it. So all four belts are on the line. The obvious question is who's going to win. I know this is a few days before the fight, but my prediction ain't going to change between sort of late Wednesday till Saturday. Before I talk about the fight, I'm going to mention a couple of things just to be totally transparent and honest about this. Number one, I don't trust any of Eddie Reynoso's crew. I think they're probably all on something, including Canelo. Canelo's been busted. Other members of the team have been busted. The other fighters in that stable have been busted. Do I have any proof? Of course not. But Canelo has been caught before. And looking at the shape of his body in recent fights and the muscle definition and so on and so forth, I would say that something's gone on. So I'm just being honest about it. That's my view. Could be wrong. If I'm proved wrong, all right, I'll take it. But he didn't get punished for this, this pathetic excuse of dodgy beef or whatever the hell it was. He didn't get punished for testing positive. His colleague in that stable had a world title fight even after testing positive. The whole thing stinks, and it's obviously connected to the WBC. I'm not someone who says, well, that's just the way it is, it's never going to change, so we just have to accept it, and therefore if people want to take steroids and if they want to do all this stuff, let them get on with it. Now, fuck that, right? This is boxing. People get killed in boxing rings when they're clean, okay? And I'm not going to adopt that laissez-faire, oh, it is what it is attitude. I hate that attitude in any walk of life, okay? Because if our forefathers had that attitude before, none of us would have anything. We wouldn't have the things that we take for granted now, whether it's your NHS, a thing called the weekend that we all enjoy, safety in the workplace, all that stuff had to be fought for. And at one point, there were plenty of people who could have said, well, that's just life, innit? No, if you've got that attitude, piss off, okay? I don't like PEDs, I don't like drug cheats, and I consider to be Canelo a proven drug cheat. But nevertheless, will I watch the fight? Yeah, I'll watch it, It's on DAZN. I subscribe to DAZN, so I'm going to watch it. Does that mean he's a bad fighter? Not at all. He's an extremely talented fighter, as we know, which makes taking PEDs, if he's continuing to do them, and I think he probably is, it makes it even worse. Okay, but he's extremely talented. I won't rehash his career because you know it. He's in against Caleb Plant, and of course this is the one with the uphill struggle is Plant. Because the second point I would make is that Plant can't win a decision. He's not going to win a decision against Canelo. Okay. If he wins every round, would he get the decision? Would they be shamed into doing it? The WBC and the judges and all that? I don't know. I doubt it, but it's possible. They might give him a draw. And it would seem to me that Plant, the only way that he can win, because he's only got 12 KOs on his record, 21 wins, 12 KOs. He hasn't got enough pop to hurt Canelo or to put him over, I don't think. What he's got to do is he's got to use his feet. He's got quick feet. And if Canelo does have a weakness, and has throughout his career had a weakness, it is from the waist down, the feet. In his earlier career, he used to be very, very slow. He's improved, certainly improved, but you'd never say, he puts educated pressure on, but you'd never say he's actually got quick feet. A mover will give him problems. To his credit, Canelo has fought movers voluntarily in order to learn, your Laras and Austin Trout. And you can make a case for Lara having won that fight. I know we're going back years. You can make a case for Lara having won that fight. Trout, I think he beat Trout. He had Trout on the floor, didn't he? Yeah, he beat Trout. So he's improved. And he does seem like, he works very, very hard. And he's certainly a genuine fighter with a fighter's mentality. But if anyone's going to beat him, it's probably going to be over the duration, using the feet, not running, because boxing within the zone, but giving angles, making people miss by an inch or two, landing lots of shots, which are not necessarily hard shots, just touching him, tapping him, not allowing him to get set, not allowing him to get any kind of rhythm going. That's not running. That's called this little thing called boxing. Okay, and it's perfectly legitimate. Watch Pernell Whitaker's fights if you want a perfect example of it. Now, is that going to be enough from Caleb Plant? Plant, this is a quantum leap up for him. His best win was against, well, he had Caleb Truax last time out, which Truax is okay, but probably at the back end of his career. He won a decision over Truax, couldn't stop him. Uzcategui is probably Plant's best opponent. Tough guy. I think I'm right in saying he failed a test recently. Yeah, they're all at it, aren't they? But I don't see him stinging Canelo. Has he got the feet and the nous to pace himself over 36 minutes of fighting, to do to Canelo what needs to be done, which is extremely difficult anyway? I don't think so. I think Canelo will have a look at him early. Canelo might lose a couple of the first 3 rounds, maybe even 3 of the first 4. But by the middle rounds, I expect him to be on it. Pretty much the same way as when he fought Billy Joe Saunders. The other intangible, and there are a lot of intangibles to this fight, is how is Plant going to handle the event itself, the Canelo show? On the surface of it, Billy Joe Saunders seemed to handle it relatively well, but when in the early rounds, you could see there was a sort of frenetic energy there, a little bit of over-eagerness, shall we be kind? And lots of energy being used up in those first 3 rounds. Canelo just stepping forward, having a look, parrying punches, maybe landing the odd warning punch. Canelo is perfectly attuned to the 36-minute distance, the 12-round distance. And I think he eventually will catch up with Caleb Plant. If I had to pick rounds, I've got a little bit of money on this. I never bet big, but I've got a bit of money on it. I'd say between the 7th and the 9th. I can see him busting up Plant. Plant's a big super middle, so maybe it goes into the later rounds. I don't know. And this is pure instinct, and it could be wrong because I've been wrong before. If none of us were ever wrong, we'd all be millionaires because we'd all be betting our houses down at bookies, wouldn't we? I'm not betting my house anytime soon, but my instinct says between the 7th and the 9th round, you're going to see a Canelo stoppage. Maybe the corner pull him out. Probably the 9th rather than the 7th, but I don't know. So what do you think? What do you think about the whole issue of, well, you can mention the drugs thing, which I feel very passionately about, as you may have gathered. And it don't just apply to Canelo. I'm not anti-Canelo. And if you take illicit substances, you should be banned for a matter of years, not months. Months don't count because they all have months off anyway. All right, we're talking years. Why the fuck has Jarrell Miller still got a license somewhere? That cunt should be out for life. But it ain't going to happen. Too much money involved, too many sanctioning fees, and the ruling bodies are the ones that I'm looking at. They're out of order, but they've always been out of order, haven't they? Maurizio Suleiman's, relationship with certain fighters and certain promoters even is very reminiscent of his father, Jose Suleiman, with Don King. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But what do you think? What do you think about the possibility of Plant winning a decision? Do you think he's got any hope at all? Just let me know. Leave your comments below. I'm always interested to read them. I'm quite happy if you disagree with me. As long, you know, I'll have a debate with anyone, as long as it's respectful. If we're talking about trash talk or trolling or all that crap, you're out, mate. I'm just going to kick you out. If you want to have a discussion, if you disagree with me, of course I'll listen to you. Of course I'll have a chat with you. That's the whole purpose of this channel. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to Joe Stunner Boxing. Spread the word. I'd be really appreciative if you do that. Like the video, share the video, and we'll look forward to the fight. I'll speak to you soon. In the meanwhile, you take care.